So, welcome back to Into the Infinityverse, the videos where I talk about the shared fanfiction universe that my friend Jason Voorhees 2011 and I work on together. And today I'm going to be talking about something that wasn't going to be considered canon to this shared universe, or shared multiverse, I should say. But Jason kind of came to a agreement. We kind of talked, and Jason was like, "All right, I don't think I'll have anything much to add to it, but go ahead." And I will be working with another minor collaborator with ours, Major Mercury, on some projects. As you can see right here, Warhammer, yes, is going to be canon to the greater multiverse of the Infinityverse. So, yeah. Like I said before, Warhammer... The thing was, like, initially, Warhammer was not going to be canon to even the multiverse of the this fanfiction universe, because even like multiverse, it's like, even people said like, oh, it's multiverse, it won't matter in the long run, you can just do whatever, it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like it would be that big of a problem, would it? And to which I was like, yeah, it kind of would. Like, it really kind of would, because, again, a lot of these characters are pretty powerful, and if you drop them in the main universe, or any universe, it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be nothing short of a crash out. So, it was kind of difficult, but I did really want to have Warhammer in the Infinityverse. So yes, after some negotiations with Jason, he was like, yeah, okay, as long as you're helming it, I trust you. So that was Jason's whole thing, is that as long as you're helming anything with Warhammer, I trust you on that ground. So, yeah, it's gonna be, I don't know how big of an effect it's gonna have at the start. In fact, we haven't really done any major planning, Major Mercury and I, on anything. We've talked about a few ideas, but there's nothing really to, like, set in stone at the moment. Now, if you're wondering which Warhammer it is, the answer is yes. So yes, both Fantasy and 40K, Fantasy and 40K are going to be in the multiverse. They're just different, they're just different universes in this multiverse. But the thing of it is that the Chaos Gods are, and the Immaterium are, they're kind of like existing outside of reality, just like how, I've talked about it before, and I may do an updated video on it, talking about, like, a majority of afterlives are interconnected. I mean, if Marvel and DC can have, like, heaven and hell and all of these afterlives as well, then why not us? The difference being is that, and I've talked about this before, is that there's only one heaven, one hell. So literally anyone who dies in the multiverse can either go to heaven or go to hell. Like heaven and hell are. That's why some people asked us, like, when we're still working on Reign in Hell, the other Savages story, we were seeing characters like Jango Fett and Star Wars characters and other characters from RWBY all in hell. So yeah. Basically, one heaven, one hell, but the other afterlives and what have you are there. The Immaterium is among those other outside realities. The Immaterium, so yeah, that also explains why the Chaos Gods can that's kind of the cheeky way of saying that's how the Chaos Gods in our continuity interact with both Fantasy and 40K. Because it's the Immaterium just exists like wherever. So, and I know that's always been kind of said without saying, but we're just kind of like now saying it out loud. So let's actually talk about the Chaos Gods. The Chaos Gods are, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I need to get more sleep, Jesus. The Chaos Gods are going to be like a big threat. They are a multiversal threat, in that they're constantly needing to spread into their influence across the multiverse. That's one of the ideas that Mercury and I were talking about. Major Mercury and I were talking about was, like, the fear of the Chaos Gods' influence spreading throughout the multiverse like a disease. So a group of heroes have to, like, monitor and stop any influences of chaos. So that's one idea we've basically had. That's probably not going to be an ongoing. That's going to be a mini series. So yeah, that's one of the things that we're kind of looking at as a story. We're still kind of building ideas and kind of building the team. But Mercury's busy being, well, having a life, and that's kind of why I know a lot of people are asking, why don't we get a lot of updates in the Infinityverse? It's because, well, Jason and I have lives outside of it, and we're not getting paid for this. So we're working as hard as we can when we have the time. So same thing applies to Cody Bradish, who helps us, as well as Major Mercury, who has also been helping us now, who's been occasionally helping us now. I know some people are like, I want to work in the multiverse. I'll talk about this right now. I know some people have talked about, like, oh, can I join the Infinityverse group? No. Jason and I have a very set idea of what we want to do with this universe, this universe of this fanfiction universe story. And Cody and Mercury are very willing to work in those guidelines. So that's why we allow those two. We don't want this to be like too many cooks in the kitchen. Hell, even having 4 people is kind of difficult at times. And again, we all have lives. So yeah, it is, but at the core of it, it is just Jason and me. Now getting back on track. The other thing is, like, are we going to see other Warhammer, both fantasy and 40k characters interact with other characters in the multiverse? That is something I want to do. The thing of it is that whether you have fantasy or 40k, especially there are characters, factions in 40k that just can solo a lot of universes on their own. I mean, if you threw the Tyranids into any other universe, it's bad. It's going to be a bad time. If you threw the Orcs into another universe, it's going to be a bad time. So it's just a matter of, like, trying to figure out how to play with them now. I will say, though, a certain collector, maybe a certain, kleptomaniac, kleptomaniac who has the sassiness of a Jeffrey Combs character, is probably going to be showing up. That's all I'm going to say on that matter, as to what other, like, characters going outside the multiverse. So, the possibilities are infinite, one might say. It's a simply divine matter. We'll stop. I'll fucking stop. Yeah, but again, using both fantasy and 40k factions and characters is going to be like walking a tightrope. Now, the other thing is that for right now, until we have until we think of something that could work, the main universe, Earth Zero, as it's called, the Prime Universe, that's the central universe. That's the central Earth where a lot of the stories take place. Anything going there is off limits. Like, anything right now, anything going to or coming to or going from that universe in the Warhammer universes is off limits for right now. Will that change? Probably, but for right now and for this short-term future, yeah, the Prime Universe is not going to be experiencing the horrors of chaos or the glory of the Emperor. Anyway, so there you go, guys. You guys tell me in the comments below what you guys think of this. Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.